Hi, I'm Mrs. Jessica Claus. Most people don't know that Mrs. Claus has a first name, but it is Jessica. This is a book about Jessica's bear. Not my bear, but I love reading it. It's written by Donna, Bennett, and Jessica's bear. It was about this little bear came from a toy factory. Like all the other bears, it had been sewn and stuffed with soft, puffy filling. Shortly after he was finished, he was placed onto a long conveyor belt. He was jiggled along toward a big box until a gloved hand reached down, picked him up, and tossed him back onto a shelf. One day a gruff voice asked, "What kind of bear are you?" The truth was, the little bear hadn't even given it a thought. "Well," the big gruff voice asked, "do you talk?" The little bear looked at the big bear propped up beside the big box. "I said, what can you do?" "I'm not sure," answered the little bear. "You have to do something," Big Bear grumbled. "For starters, try walking." The little bear tried moving his legs, but nothing happened. "Rumph," said the big bear. "Maybe you're a musical bear. Check your back for a wind-up key." The little bear peered over his shoulder. "No wind-up key." "I've got it. Push on your stomach and see what happens." The little bear pushed. Nothing happened. Big Bear was getting impatient. "Let's see. No walking, no music. Look and see if you have a tag with directions." "A tag?" The little bear looked at his paws, under his arms. "Is this a tag?" he asked excitedly, pulling on a flat yellow paper. "Yep, that's what it says," Big Bear demanded. "It says made in USA." "Is that all?" Big Bear asked. "That's all," said the little bear. "Well, kid, ordinary bears have a tough time of it these days, and now that it's so close to Christmas, well, gee, I just don't know if you'll find a home." Big Bear growled and turned away, patting his fur. "Sorry, kid, I've got to get my beauty rest." The little bear had a lot of questions to ask. What's a home? How do you get one? What's Christmas? But Big Bear just grumbled. The next morning, the little bear woke to a loud rumbling. A large bin on wheels stopped right in front of the shelf where he sat. He tried to make out the words on the side of the bin. "Seconds," Big Bear whispered. "What does seconds mean?" Big Bear yawned and lifted his eyebrows. "Oh no, kid, you're a second. You must never find a home. You'll probably never find a home. Good luck." Just then the little bear was tossed into the bin and rumbled past Big Bear down the long aisle. Another hand grabbed him and set him onto a table with lots of other bears and a large red sign that said, "Sale." "Where are we?" he asked the bear closest to him. "We're seconds. Look, your nose isn't straight." "My nose?" The little bear crossed his eyes and looked down his nose, but he couldn't see anything. "Are you sure?" he asked. "Uh-huh," said the other bear. "I'm so positive." Whenever anyone stopped to look, the little bear sat as straight as he could, hoping no one would notice his crooked nose. But this took a lot of effort, and his neck got awfully tired. Finally, little bear watched as a smiling lady approached the sale table. She lifted one bear, then another, placing each gently back on the table. Then it happened. She reached over and picked up the little bear. "Oh, this is the one. It's just the right size," she said. The little bear couldn't help wondering what size had to do with finding a home, but then he still had a lot to learn. After a very long time, the little bear found himself in a small room in a quiet house. It was dark. There were other toys in the room, but none of them talked. The door opened and the smiling lady walked to him. She tied a big bow around his neck, placing him under a Christmas tree with many brightly wrapped packages. He wondered if he had at last found a home. That night, when all the lights were out, he whispered, "If there's anyone listening, is this home?" What? Who's talking?" "It's me, the little bear. Who are you?" "I'm a very special Christmas ornament. They bring me out once a year, and I get to hang on the tree and watch all the holiday activities. I'm Gingerbread Boy. Up there's Snowman. Mrs. Claus is on the limb. Below me, Santa's asleep. We better not wake him. Now, little bear, you're not an ornament because you're under the tree." The little bear sighed. "But am I in a home?" he asked. "We're not sure. You see, we think you're a present, maybe a Christmas present, so you're probably going to be given away. Thing is, we can't figure out who's going to get you. There are no small children in this family, so this is probably not going to be your home." The little bear was disappointed. "We should all find out tomorrow," Gingerbread Boy said. "That's Christmas Eve. We'll be very busy, so we better get some sleep." The next day, the little bear was awake early. Gingerbread Boy was right. It was a busy day. Good smells floated in from the kitchen. The house was filled with music, and people were coming and going with presents in their arms. Gingerbread Boy said, "The presents will be opened after dinner." The little bear could hardly wait. Suddenly there was a flurry of activity, and he was sure it was time to open the gifts. Gingerbread Boy looked around. "It didn't look like it's time for me," he said. "Nope, no one's had supper. Something else must be happening." The little bear settled down to wait. It wasn't long before the smiling lady picked him up from under the tree, placed him in a box filled with tissue paper, and that was covered with Christmas trees and silver stars. It all happened so quickly, the little bear hardly had time to whisper goodbye to his friends. But he did hear Gingerbread Boy say, "This may be it. You may be going to your new home." The little bear was used to waiting for things to happen, and he was sleepy. The box was warm and cozy, so he curled his paws across his tummy and took a nap. He slept a very long time. When he woke up, it was dark inside the box, but he could hear a soft, deep voice announce, "It's a girl!" "A girl?" the smiling lady shouted. "Well, we're prepared for that. Here," she said, "this is Jessica's first Christmas present." The little bird heard the crumple of paper, and someone lifted him from the box, placed him next to a small, noisy bundle in a pink blanket. Stretching to see why the bundle was making so much noise, he lost his balance and fell, landing with a soft plop to the crying baby. Startled, baby Jessica, all red and wrinkled, looked at the little bear and stopped crying. He tried to straighten his nose, but suddenly he knew it didn't matter. Jessica was smiling. Little Bear had found his home. And home is having someone who loves you, no matter what your nose looks like. So the story tells us all about Jessica's bear, which means no matter if your nose is crooked, your eyes are blue, or if they're green, it's all important that you love yourself.